Okay, so I'm just recording some thoughts here. Basically, since 2005, I've been writing a journal regarding my eyes, and starting in 2005 or 2004, really, I started. I was in 2004. My eyes were at 6D left and 8.25D right. I've had myopia since 1977. Um, so since then, I've dropped uh, myopia, my own myopia, by a significant amount. Um, and right now, I'm at about two left, three right, somewhere around there, maybe 2.75 right. Um, when I use a Snellen chart, I can get down to line three with my left eye, line one with my right eye, which means, you know, 2.5 right and 1.25 left. Although I do have a significant amount of astigmatism, and that astigmatism has caused me some problems. Um, I'm trying to write a book about my experience, but I'm thinking that maybe making YouTube videos might not be a bad idea to figure out, or not figure out, but to get my research out there. Um, I have had problems with how I measure my myopia by using what's called near far points. At first, I just would record the far points. I recorded whatever I got. I got 14 centimeters in my right eye, and then a few weeks later, oh, it's 15, and then a few weeks later, oh, it's 16, and then a few weeks later, oh, it's down to 14. It wasn't as like that. Um, in 2022, I came up with a regimen. By what I would do is I would um, use whole diopters. So instead of, like you say, 20 centimeters translates to 5 diopters, 25 centimeters translates to 4 diopters. I tried to standardize my measurements by reading a piece of paper with some writing on it, and if I could see the letters, if I could read it, that's where I would measure. So one time in May of 2022, I was in a parking lot, and I just sat there with this card and read it, and I put it against a ruler, which I put against my eye right here, and started at 50 centimeters. Couldn't read it. This is with my left eye. 33 centimeters, which translates to 3 diopters. Couldn't read it. 25, I could read it. So I left it that way. I said, okay, 25 cm or 4 diopters is my right eye, which is great because in 2004, I was at 6 diopters in my right eye, so which is high myopia. I'm sorry, my left eye, I should say. Um, so my myopia has gotten better. Um, then around, I guess starting around 2024, I started to view some YouTubers, three in particular, one guy was talking about he would ride his bike around in his neighborhood or his scooter or his skateboard or whatever. And he said, well, I can see really clear in the distance now. My vision's getting clearer. To another gentleman who claimed to have lost 5 diopters in 10 years after he researched for 10 years. To another YouTuber who went from about 5.5 to 2.75 in a year. Um, so, and of course, that YouTuber is young. They're in their 20s. Um, I'm 58. Of course, when I started this in 2004, I was 36. I hope I got the math right. I just threw that out there. Um, so, so yeah, I have been doing this for 22 years. It's been a long time, and it's been by and large been pretty good. It's been a good 22 years of reduction, um, and I've achieved some good results. I Okay. I guess I just kind of talk about several things here. I want to talk about lifestyle change and then rates. I want to talk about. Uh, Lifestyle change is very important because if you want to lose your myopia, if you're 5, 6, 7 diopters, you're my age or a little younger, and you've been going to your doctor, religiously. If it's like every 2 or 3 years, you find out every time you go, you have to get a higher prescription. Um, Nothing is more disappointing than something like that happening. You go every time, and you have to get a higher prescription. So that's very hard to deal with. Um, Eventually, you want to start dropping that. You want to start reducing myopia because, in my mind, it doesn't make any sense to have to wear glasses to be able to read a book that's sitting on your table in front of you. And I found myself as early as high school starting to have to do that. Um, I and back then the glasses didn't differentiate very well. Now they have. I mean, it would have been better off with bifocals, a la Ben Franklin, but I didn't have them. So um, in 2004, I took over my own eye care because a year before that, or a few years before that, I was diagnosed with glaucoma, and the doctor I went to put me on Zolotan, and I didn't want to be on Zolotan because of the side effects. Um, so I stopped. I quit. I went to Wills Eye Hospital. I got a second opinion that said I didn't have a glaucoma, so I said, okay, I'm just going to go with what they say. Um, as far as my rate is concerned, um, I have been losing. Okay, so first of all, from 2004, when I was at the minus 6D in my left eye, I got to 2015 with a 5.5D prescription, which means I lost, well, no, wait a minute, to a 5D prescription, which means I lost a diopter of myopia in my left eye in 11 years. That was the first time in my life I ever had a sustained, reliable loss of myopia. My right eye is a little bit of a different story. It's more, my right eye is more myopic, but I had a similar loss in that eye too. Um, so I had I had a sustained loss of a diopter over 11 years, which is about 9 degrees per year, or 9/100ths of a diopter per year loss, which I'm very happy about. Um, since then, I've been able to pick up that rate because I changed my job. Uh, I have a job where I drive a lot. I use my far vision a lot, and I do have a decent amount of mid-range vision use. So from 2018 or 2019 until now, I've lost a total of 2 diopters. So, and I know this because I had this one job where it's very dark. There are skylights overhead, but they're like 3 feet up, or 3 stories up. It's a very tall place. It's in Norristown. I go in there and it's really dark in the early mornings. And when I first started in 2019, I had to use a headlight and I had to use pinhole glasses to do the job because I refused to wear my minus lenses. Now I can use 2 diopter reading glasses to do the job, and my eyesight is better with the 2 diopter reading glasses now than my pinhole glasses with the headlamp were in 2019. So I've lost at least a couple of diopters since then. The reason I want to talk about rates is because I think, first of all, myopia can be reduced. The eyeglasses industry says it can't be reduced. The reason for this is because it's very, very hard to lose diopters of myopia. It's a lot easier to put them on, especially when you're wearing your full strength prescription glasses, which you should not be doing. However, once you get to, above about 2.5 diopters of myopia, I would say that you have what I would refer to as eyesight that's not viable anymore, because you have no way of not only being able to see distant objects, but you have no way of being able to see mid-range objects, which is about the length of your arm, which means that if you're in the -3, -4, -5, you just take your glasses off and you hold something about arm's length away you can't see. And if you're -10, you got to be about 10 centimeters away, which is about 4 inches. That's not much. So I also said I wanted to talk about the rates. I have reliably produced myopic loss rates of about 0.5 diopters per year since 2021. I initially thought maybe it was getting around 75 degrees per year for my left eye, 100 degrees for my right eye, but that's not the case. When I first started, I measured in 2021 to 2022, I had about, 6.5D in my right eye in 2021. In 2022, I had 5D of myopia in my right eye. There may have been some kind of a rebound. I don't remember if I was wearing my minus lenses very much, but once I started using reading glasses, I was able to get a lot better results. I was able to virtually triple my rate from, of course, the 2004 to 2015, a rate of about 9 degrees per year loss to about, I'm saying 50 degrees now per year. However, my 2-degree loss over 7 years indicates more of about 25 or 20. Well, actually, I think it's 28 degrees a year. I just wrote it down, but I have it on my computer screen. I can't see it right now. So anyway, so if you're trying to lose myopia, go on YouTube, look up some of these YouTubers that are doing the same thing. I'm not going to say any names. I just think that be realistic about the rates that you can achieve for loss of myopia, because you're probably not going to get much better than about, I would say at most half a diopter per year. If you have a job that is very intense near work, like let's say you're an engineer and you're doing a lot of near work, a lot of communication, conversions or math, and then you're wearing your minus lenses, you pretty much have no hope of losing myopia. However, if you switch over to, if you take glasses that are, say, 3 diopters less than your prescription. So let's say for instance you're 10 diopters, both eyes. If you can find a pair of glasses that are 7, put those babies on and see if you can focus. You might have to get a lot closer to your work, but you will lose myopia. It will go away. Um, in my instance, I had a very intense near work job from 2006 to 2010. As I said, I started this off in 2004. I kind of feel like any loss that I had initially from 2004 to 2006 was erased by 2010. Um, Although overall, I still lost a diopter of myopia by 2015. So anyway, if you're trying to do this, if you're trying to lose myopia, it's a hard thing to do, but the benefits are worth it. Your eyes will get better. If you have high myopia, you have a much better. It's a risk factor for macular degeneration, glaucoma, and retinal detachment. Um, One of my other jobs, I see at least one person or 2 people a day going into the retina specialist. Retina specialists are making a lot of money um, because of myopia. So, good luck.